Welcome to Inside Marketing with MarketSurge, your front row seat to the boldest ideas and smartest strategies in the marketing game. Your host is Reed Hansen, Chief Growth Officer at MarketSurge. MarketSurge is a full-service marketing agency that helps businesses stop guessing and start growing. From killer ads to scroll-stopping content, automation to SEO, we do it all, and we do it with results that actually matter. This podcast is where we spill the secrets, drop the truth bombs, and bring you unfiltered conversations that help you scale smarter. Want to level up even faster? Learn more at MarketSurge.io, hit subscribe, drop a review, and let's make your business impossible to ignore.
Hello and welcome again to the MarketSurge Podcast, Inside Marketing with MarketSurge. Today we're going to talk about AI and talk about it at a business level for non-technical professionals. So I would raise my hand and say I'm one of those non-technical professionals. I was actually an Italian major when in my undergrad, learned AI through application, and I hope I can convey the sense that this is learnable and you can adopt this for your business, even if you aren't at your computer all the time. But hopefully there is some utility you can find. So I also promise not to let AI steal my job or your job by the end of this show. I do have a passion for making technology accessible to business owners of all kinds, particularly the non-technical business owners, and really want to show you how you can use the power of AI to grow your business and rather than replace you, to extend your efforts. Just to level set, by 2027, the global AI market is expected to reach $500 billion. So essentially, it is going to be an enormous market, and we're going to see so many businesses participate. Now, Andrew Ng, who is an academic and an entrepreneur, he said that AI is the new electricity. Now, if you think about it, what life was like before electricity, obviously before any of us were born, but we're aware of it. And clearly that was a world-changing innovation. AI is like that too. It isn't something we can ignore. It is something that we have to embrace and rely on. It's like when the buggy whip maker had an opportunity to invest in Ford early, but didn't see the utility, didn't see the opportunity, the ground shifting underneath his feet. That is something that we all have to be cognizant of as we approach AI and how we use it. AI really is the next step in the information economy. The internet affected every business. So you had electricity and telephones and the internet, which was a huge leap forward. But now we've added the capacity for growth of AI, and it is something that we should adopt and utilize. Now, today we're going to talk about, in a few segments, the AI fundamentals and how it's revolutionizing industries in the second section, some insights from some experts, and finally some practical tips for dipping your toes into the AI pool. Now, I'd invite you, if you have any questions, to comment or contact us anytime. We love to talk AI, and maybe a human will even respond to what you ask. No promises, though. So let's jump into the AI fundamentals. Now, AI really is high-tech software that can learn patterns faster than you can say the extended artificial intelligence. It learns extremely rapidly. It relies on technology, so both code and physical hardware, that are light years ahead of what we have been using in recent years. Now, there are three key concepts to be familiar with. That's machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing. Really, this is the technical part of the presentation, but something that is worth being aware of. Machine learning, first of all, it's a branch of artificial intelligence that enables computers to learn from data and improve over time without being explicitly programmed or explicitly taught. It involves developing complex algorithms that identify patterns, make predictions, and adapt to new circumstances as they process more information. So essentially, they ingest some information, learn from it, expand on their capabilities, and ingest more information and does the same over and over again. They leverage statistical techniques, data analysis, and can automate decision-making, optimize processes, and provide insights in areas ranging from recommendations for shopping, personal decision-making, or fraud detection. It turns raw data into actionable intelligence, allowing organizations to solve complex problems more efficiently and frequently uncovering new opportunities for innovation. So our second term is deep learning. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning where a computer learns by processing information through many layers. So it's a bit like how the brain works. Imagine showing the computer lots of pictures and it gradually figures out that some pictures have cats while others don't. Each layer picks up on simple details until it can recognize the whole cat. This layered approach helps the computer understand complex things like speech, images, and text, all by learning from examples rather than being told exactly what to do. Okay, our final technical term, natural language processing. So it's often referred to as NLP. It's giving the computers the ability to understand and talk like we do. It's a technology that helps computers read and interpret the way we communicate with computers in a more sensical way. So whether it's powering chatbots, translating languages, or sorting through emails, NLP makes our interactions with technology feel a lot more natural and less robotic. And I think if you've had interactions with chatbots over the years, you'll remember 2 or 3 years ago, it seemed very mechanical, and they are getting better. That's the truth. And this NLP enables the machines to better understand us. Let's talk a little bit about the history around AI. Jump to our understanding of where it started. So obviously, AI has been a plot in many sci-fi movies. I think about Blade Runner, The Terminator, The Matrix. Now, in each of those, arguably, the AI represents the villain or the antagonist, something that is going to sweep and destroy humanity. AI, as it manifests, has actually been a great resource to us. But the concept of AI has been around long before those movies were. In the 1950s, it was incepted, but the limitations of both the technology and the logic algorithms held it back. Around the mid-2000s, there were some new and better deep learning techniques that began to outshine what they'd done, and that allowed them to have great innovation in computer vision and natural language processing. So, that was manifested in Google Images being able to recognize things in pictures and compare and find similar images and better understand things that you type in search. That's probably the best example to think about. One big leap forward came in 2012 when AlexNet dramatically outperformed competitors in image recognition tasks. And that really ignited some excitement around deep neural networks. And that excitement came with investment. And this momentum carried into voice assistants. So you think like Siri, Alexa, whatever Google Assistant was called. Sorry, I'm not familiar. But this started to conceptualize self-driving car technology, and what was science fiction before now became reality. Now in 2016, famously, Google's AlphaGo made headlines by beating a world champion in the complex game of Go. It's so complex, I don't even know how to play it. I don't even know what it is. Obviously, it's way over my head. But this machine beat the world's grandmaster at Go. And apparently that had never been done. If you remember some of the battles between chess grandmasters and computers over the 50s and beyond, it was Watson, I think, that was finally very victorious, and with some controversy, I think, but victorious over some of the greats in the chess world. But recently, we've seen big leaps forward in the GPT models. So the actual apps you can use, like ChatGPT and Gemini from Google and Grok from TikTok. So big advances, and then other image generation engines like DALL-E and Midjourney and many like that. You go from having 6 fingers on each hand to having much more high fidelity, high resolution images that look realistic. And today, Even just a few weeks ago, we saw a huge leap forward in even the free version of ChatGPT, enabling you to create production-ready images that previously you had to have a graphic designer create for you. The history is continuously being written. We're going to have changes next week. We're going to see continued increased capabilities of this and the way that we interact with this. We're not going to be able to avoid AI, even as consumers. By the end of 2025, Gartner forecasts that 75% of companies will be operationalizing AI. So it may not feel like it, and maybe you feel like you're one of those that might fall in that 25%, but it is quite accessible, quite easy to adopt and bring into your business in small cases. So let's talk a little bit about how it's being used. We know some obvious ways. I think we've received robocalls that have a little bit of intelligence, or placed a customer support call that was an automated voice. But in retail, AI chatbots and other smart inventory systems are helping up to 70% of retailers improve the results that customers find in search, and has improved the shopping experience, and it has increased sales because customers are more frequently presented with what they actually want to buy, or what they maybe didn't realize they need, but they're presented at the right time. So in finance, 60% of banks have deployed AI for fraud detection. So that's great. I can't be grateful enough for a few times that the AI has saved me from potentially being hacked. Wish the world were different, but we do need powerful resources to protect us from fraud. Now, in the healthcare world, so healthcare providers are using AI to streamline diagnostics and even treatment plans. They have access to tools. These doctors and other medical professionals have access to tools that can rapidly identify and provide treatment for all sorts of things. And so that speeds up things, and it provides additional intelligence. So from a marketing standpoint that almost any business could use, personalization. It's an important concept for any marketer to bring the right message to the individual groups. In addition to the response rate that comes from effective personalization, there's the concept of automation. Not only are the parameters and the ability to distinguish between different kinds of consumers now available from AI, but also it powers the interactions. The example is chatbots are now handling over 85% of routine customer interactions. We've all interacted with a chatbot at some level, but as a business owner, that frees you up to deal with the more interesting parts of your business, essentially. Now, I think this was probably a similar phenomenon. We've used chatbots both for support and for initial responses to incoming leads. Occasionally, we're met with some anger. And in particular, a gentleman today just lost his mind when he realized that he was interacting with a bot, which was unfortunate, but it's unrealistic to think that you're going to get humans in every interaction with a business. And also remember, I would remind all of us that when you have a rant, either on typing text or on the voice, those interactions are recorded and those are tied to your identity. So remember, the internet is forever. AI can also be a predictor. It can potentially predict future purchases that you need to make based on a large audience that it has observed and synthesized. And that can be helpful for making future business decisions. Now, let's talk a little bit about what some of the thinkers around AI, so that's both the innovators and the academics and the business leaders in the AI world, have specified. I mentioned Andrew Ng, and he described AI as the new electricity. So if electricity can power your phone, AI can power your business growth. With the information and the thinking power it can provide, can hugely expand your business's potential. Fu Lee, who was a business executive, Taiwanese, that worked for both Google and Apple, he claims that AI will be the biggest technology breakthrough of the 21st century. Not super revolutionary, but it's important to think we have to think of it as it is. This is a tremendous game changer for business. Ginny Rometty, maybe from a more pragmatic standpoint, she was the CEO of IBM for many years, and was one of her big projects was the development of the Watson machine. So she brought AI, very high-speed computing, machine learning, to a practical business level. IBM obviously had a lot of financial and other large business clients. And with Watson, we're able to power much more advanced analytics than had been previously possible. So she's said that these cognitive systems can help businesses not just process these vast amounts of data, but also derive intelligence, provide that intelligence to business leaders, and essentially that this technology is a smart partner to the human managers at these businesses. Satya Nadella and Eric Brynjolfsson have mentioned, so Satya Nadella is the CEO of Microsoft, and Eric Brynjolfsson, who is another academic in the computer science space, they have been big advocates for democratizing AI. Now, what that means is making AI tools accessible at free levels. Most of our AI technologies have a free tier available for you to experiment. So the AI can learn, but also as a human population, we can embrace this technology and be familiar with it. And this isn't something that the elite or the rich can only use and access. There is a concern that AI replaces workers or that it replaces professions or industries. And this democratization and making it accessible at free levels to all who have access to a computer or even a smartphone, this is how they are attempting to counter those concerns. And I think it's a very worthwhile pursuit. A couple of the big power players in this are Sam Altman, who is running OpenAI, which powers ChatGPT, and then Elon Musk, who powers Grok. Unfortunately, I think the biggest story around the two of them, though they have very powerful AI frameworks, they are playing out a very bitter rivalry in public on social media. But they, with their wealth and resources and strength and innovation, really pushed this forward into the commercial space. Now that we've had our fill of the experts and the thought leaders in this space, let's talk a little bit about some of the concerns around AI. So there are some challenges. It isn't easy to ramp up. There are obviously data quality issues. You can ask ChatGPT something and get a response that, say you're an expert, and it'll return a response occasionally that is just flat out wrong. It is important to check your work and not rely solely on one engine. You can always ask for sources when you're looking, and you can check those sources when you're using ChatGPT or other GPTs for research. So there's also some ethical issues around bias. AI is trained on human communications, whether it's on social media or comments or anything it's reading online. And so as a result, it does have some biases that it picked up from those interactions because humans have biases. In some cases, they've reflected prejudices against women, minorities that are unfair and bad. And here's a couple examples. So there's a criminal justice tool, Compass, which is used to predict reoffending risks. It was found to exhibit racial biases, leading to higher false positive rates for minority defendants. A recruiting tool developed by Amazon was discontinued after it was discovered that its algorithms favored male candidates, reflecting historical gender biases in hiring data. Facial recognition systems, things we use on our phones and maybe at airports, have been criticized for misidentifying people of color at higher rates than people with lighter skin. It is important to be aware of these things and to advocate for fairness in all of AI's uses. So let me talk a little bit about best practices for getting started with AI. The first thing you want to do is start with a small pilot project. And like I said, you can use free tools to get started. So maybe that's a simple search to prepare for a client presentation, to do some deep research. You also need to have as many people on your staff as possible familiar with using AI. And then you may want to enlist the expertise of an AI or tech expert to help you get started. Now, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was an AI-powered business. You'll need to take baby steps. You don't want to just totally turn on the switch and rely on it. AI learns, and so you needed to take it through every kind of training that you would do for a new employee or somebody just learning the business from the outside. Now, AI can do that quite quickly, but you have to check its work. Now, let me just recap a few key points here. AI is built on self-learning technology. It will continue to improve. So everything that I've shared here is accurate up to this moment, and things will continue to change. It has a revolutionary role in many industries, and we're just learning about its potential for many others. It can provide increased efficiency, better customer engagement, and potentially a more futuristic flair to your business. So let's talk a little bit about some actionable steps. Now, I'd like you to all identify one area in your business that is ripe for an AI upgrade. You want to start with a pilot product. You want to start with a pilot project that won't leave you in the dust. So feel free to use books, online resources, training courses. There's a lot of resources on YouTube. There's a lot of resources that come with these AI engines, and you'll be able to, this is learnable and accessible. Even the savviest business moguls started somewhere, and often it was just with, what is AI? Googling what is AI, excuse me. Now, I am very excited about the future of AI. I think it enables so many people, and the innovations are going to be mind-blowing. We just can't even predict them. But I would encourage you to start your AI journey today. And if you've started, to continue to learn and optimize and find more places that you can accelerate your business and grow. But, this is doable, and I'm excited for what the future holds for you and your business.